Evil-Lyns. We're going to be going over the this is after time skip Evil-Lyn, and this is a more classic ideal of Evil-Lyn. This is the New Eternia Evil-Lyn. Now, I know it will drive some people crazy to wait, but we are going to open this one first because I need to see this one to see how much of an improvement that actually is. And I don't know until I do this. I need to see her, so that's what it is. As usual, this artwork is absolutely superb. I love Motu artwork. It is one of the fundamental reasons that I invest in this toy line. If they got rid of this, they would lose a third of the value. And I'm not kidding about that. The art for this line and all of Motu in general is spectacular. Even the original figures knew that the artwork was part of the sell value. They knew that. There was no question that they were selling a product, a fantasy, barbarian, techno-fantasy. They knew that. As for the cross-sell, I have all of that. We've already talked about this. We've talked about this, and we've talked about this. All of these have been discussed on the channel already, so there are already videos for them. And this Evil-Lyn, of course, we have never talked about because she's right here. And then as for this, the cross-sell down there, I have already located these two figures and bought them. And now, of course, I have this, so I have completed this cross-sell as well. And I have no idea. I do have the other guy ordered. But he is not in that cross-sell, so I'm curious if he was some sort of exclusive or something like that that maybe I didn't pay attention to when I ordered him. He's cool, and I'm very much looking forward to owning him, but now that I'm thinking about it, the skull, the skeleton guy, he must be some kind of exclusive because he's not on the cross-sell. Regardless, I'm going to open this, so I'm going to mute the mic. Okay, let's start with Evil-Lyn Revelations After Time Skip. And there's a reason I call it After Time Skip, because the Revelation figures have been releasing figures that are before Time Skip, like Teela, and after Time Skip, like Teela. So there's episode 1, which is before Time Skip, and episode 2 really starts the After Time Skip part of the series. And that's the reason I constantly keep saying that. So, here she is. Standard, we're looking at a fairly standard Masterverse buck. So nothing that's offensive, nothing that's crazy, nothing that's going to blow our minds or make us go, how come she's built that way and other characters are not built that way? We don't have any problem there in terms of what that is. She comes with a lot of stuff, actually, for what she is. She comes with a grip hand so that she can actually hold the wand. She comes with an expression hand. She comes with another expression hand, another grip hand, and 2 punch hands for when Evil-Lyn need punch somebody. I don't know when that happens. I don't remember Evil-Lyn punching people necessarily, but she's fully capable of doing so. She came with the hands to do it. The boots turn. I actually was curious about that. If these boots turned. I like these cuff boots, actually. I think that's really cool. Mine, you could tell where the plastic was pulled out, which that's just a machining issue. That has to do with how the plastic is made and whatnot. The battle skirt is really nice. It doesn't get in the way or anything like that. And they put all of this here on this. I like this. I don't like it when it's like printed on the inner thigh or something like that, because then when I'm doing photography shots, that will show up. I have that in a couple of my photography things with like Zelda. They put all the information on the inner thigh, and I hate that. This is fine. I don't mind if it's on the bottom of the boot or something, but since I like these, I like to use these for photography purposes, I really don't like it when they do something like that. It really makes me not like it. It's just that simple. Thin arms, but we expect that. That's part of the females of the line. A lot of movement up here. Turn movement is solid. Everything that I'm seeing here is absolutely fantastic. And if I'm being perfectly honest, this is a good design. Like, this very much looks like a D&D version of Evil-Lyn. Like, it's done well. I don't hate this at all. This is cool. I just realized that that was a thing. That's to hold the wand. I know, sometimes I'm very easily impressed, but look, I'm 40 years old, guys. I come from when toys didn't do this, okay? At best, what they would do is they would like put another wand like here or something like that, and it would be like a permanent part of the figure or something like that. Like when your characters had like a gun or a knife, but they didn't actually. There would be like a knife here, and you'd be playing Joes or whatnot, and you'd be like, now my guy takes the knife out, but you actually couldn't do it. Now we can. Look, sometimes I'm easily impressed because I come from a time when toys did not get this level of attention. I really like that. This is cool. I'd say there's a little bit of paint issue on mine. It's very minor to the point where only if I really look at it do I see it. The face is absolutely fantastic. I really think it's really good. Overall, this is good. This is the wand I prefer. This is just really good. And I like that it's translucent purple in there. That's a nice effect. It's not like you could see right through it, but you could tell that it's more like a clear purple that's been painted on. That's cool. And I like this because it's about what I want it to be. You could argue this doesn't fit my rules. You've heard my rules here many times. I like when a staff touches the floor and goes a little bit up above the head. This does not, but it looks really good, and I think that it works. So we have the long one and we have the short one. And so it depends on which kind of design you want for your person. That's fine. We talked about the hands. I actually like this too. She has her satchel bag, which actually came with her, so she can carry all of her potions and stuff in the satchel bag, which goes onto her character, I imagine, fairly well. Yes, actually, it's even better than I imagined. They knew and have already formed the plastic here so well that this fits perfectly. So you can have the wand on this side, the satchel bag on this side. This is well done. This is a really, really good figure. Evil-Lyn, for being this early in the line while people were complaining about like the Tila and whatnot, I would argue she was standout. This is really, really good. She's got an okay butt. Sometimes we check. This is something I was looking forward to, though. I want to see what this looks like. So we are going to pop the head off. There we go. That was easy. No issues. I'm telling you, that's so good. I'm sorry. I know. But that is so good. That is a dang good head. And then we're going to put this head on. Little bit of problem here. It seems like her hair is a little bit in the way. Not the worst I've ever seen, but her hair is definitely... Okay, so her hair makes the bag a little bit of a problem, but nothing too terrible. And from what I could tell, she does... Once the head is on like that, it doesn't want to move. And it almost seems like the way that it sits on there, it almost seems like her head is a little low. Like, maybe I'm imagining that, but that's kind of the idea I get. But I really do like the way the hair comes down and everything, and it's long white hair. I know that the original Evil-Lyn, the classic Evil-Lyn, has short white hair. It's kind of buzzed, but I like that the time skip has this really long, luxurious white hair. I think that's cool. Like, that's a real sharp image, and the face is just mean. Like, it's a really good face. Like, she just looks irritated and everything, which I really like about her. I think she's done very well. I am not complaining about this at all, which makes me even more interested now to see the other Evil-Lyn, because this is done way, way better than I ever expected it to be done. So that alone has my interest quite substantially. Let me get... Come on. There. The hair makes this head a little difficult to work with. It honestly does. It's not the neck joint or anything like that, because I'm sure that I'll have no problem. Yeah, see, right on, no problem. Head perfectly on there, no issues. So very much the hair does kind of get in your way and makes it a little difficult to get on there, but all in all, it looks good either way. Whether you were to display her this way or this way, it's just good. It's just good. I feel like I want this to lean this way, to be fair. And there we go. I'll put her to the side. I think this is a winner, which now has me that much more interested to see what they did with this other Evil-Lyn, because, I mean, just looking at her to the side here and knowing the quality of New Eternia, if she was that good, this is going to be very impressive. Good artwork for what it's worth. Good artwork for what it's worth, but I would still argue, and I still do, that this artwork should be here. It's a minor thing, but the art is so good that I really wish that this had an entire back thing. Even though I get why they do this, they want you to get an idea of the action features that come with each character. They want you to know about the cape, they want you to know about the wand, and they want you to see the actual figure, a representation of what you are buying. But one would argue that I know what I'm buying. It's right there. And the window is big enough that I can blatantly see that it is right there. And these two little pictures here could have easily been what was here and here. And this could have been this. These are minor stupid complaints. I'm not making a big deal of anything. I am saying, however, that this has to happen. Okay? This. I need this. I need it. Guys, do you know I have 4 Battle Cats? Do you know I have 4 Masterverse Battle Cats? 4 of them, okay? I like the cats. I need Panther. Also, this is that guy I was talking about. I bought this. So, is that an exclusive to Big Bad? I actually don't know. But I'm not seeing him show up in the stores. I've seen everything else in the stores. He's not on the cross-sell, which would normally indicate that he is an exclusive to something. Maybe not necessarily to Big Bad, but maybe he's like an online exclusive or something of that nature. I don't know. But I do know that I bought him. I'm just waiting for him to ship. It says that he'll ship in December. We're not all the way done with December. It's only about half. So we'll see how that goes. Now, I have heard that there is a Masterverse Panther on the way. I've heard a lot of rumors about it, but I'm going to stick to the fact that those are rumors until I see an actual prototype or I see something, an actual definitive reveal. But boy, am I looking forward to that. But for right now, we don't have a Panther, and we don't have Skeleton Head Man. We have Evil-Lyn. Let's open her. I'll mute the mic so that I can open her up. Okay, I'm glad that the mic was muted for that one, because that was a whole lot of crinkling. Like a ridiculous amount of crinkling. Let me fix the camera real quick, okay? There. Okay, so let's see her. First off, she comes with punching hands for when she need punch somebody. And she comes with, I'm going to call these casting hands or expression hands for when she need cast or express herself. Bottom part of the staff, top part of the staff, which is cool because it means that the staff in general can be whichever one of those 2 versions I want, though I would argue that I wish this was a little longer. Minor complaint right off the bat. But that's part of this is first impressions. And on first impression, this could have been about this long, in all honesty. But let's check her out, shall we? Cape. You know, a cape. Because, like, she has a cape. I know I'm harking on that. I'm going back to the cartoon one again, but, like, why did they not give her the cape? I'm honestly confused why that happened, but now I'm done with that complaint. I really like the skin tone here. They've darkened her up a little bit. Like, Evil-Lyn tends to be more pale, which here, now that I'm looking at it, they darkened her up too, to be fair. So it's just in the figure, the Origins figures seem to be a little more pale. She's not. They darkened her up a little bit, which is actually pretty cool. Let's see. I'm not having any problems. This is a Masterverse body, but I noticed they changed something. And I don't know if this is going to be a big deal, but they changed something. In the Masterverse figures, even for the girls, they had the double elbow. And they have the bicep swivel. She doesn't have a bicep swivel. This is all one cut. It's not a thing, okay? And this is also a single joint elbow. This is all the movement that I can get from her arm. That is a little bit of a problem, okay? There's also no turn here in the forearm. We do have a turn here. So there's going to be some limited motion in the arms. Like, this is it. This is what we got. We could still T-pose. And, of course, we have all the round and everything. That's not the problem. But there is a bit of an issue here in the movement. Otherwise, the legs are very, very Masterverse. I have no problem in the boots. That turns exactly like you'd expect it. We're looking at double knees. She can go all the way up to basically kick her own butt if the horsehair was not there. And she has the thigh swivel. Everything in terms of that is fine. And of course, she can basically do the splits, so we're not having a problem there. So let's take a look at her. That face is so good. Like, it really is. It is way, way better than I was expecting. That is a very, very good face sculpt. I wish that I could get this to focus in a little bit better. That's the only problem with doing these like this, is that the camera kind of just does what it wants. Otherwise, I like these skulls. The belt is skulls, which is pretty cool. All of this is really nice. I like these the ram horns that come up around the bust. I think that's good. Not a bad bust. They didn't do a terrible job here. It's just modest enough while still being enough that you can blatantly tell what they were going for. This battle skirt thing here, it's very malleable. It's not going to get in your way. It's not going to cause any problems. Same with the back. The made in China is on her butt. And I guess she did fine in that department for what it's worth. And we are looking at a cape, but it is not wireframe, and we can't remove it. The way this is on there, this isn't something that, like, you pull off. Like this hair and whatnot, you don't pull this out. If you remove this, chances are, unless you know what you're doing, you're not getting it back. Also, the thigh, there's a hardcore thigh gap here because they allowed for this. So they got that drop down that happens in the thigh where you could pull the legs down to get more movement and then push the legs back up into place to remove the seam, which that's not a bad thing. I kind of like that. So you could push them up and remove the seam for like certain shots that you want. That's good. But the arms, that is a real problem to me. There we go. connect this so that it's the full length of the staff. This is even more see-through or transparent plastic than it was in the other wand. But the other wand is substantially bigger. Like, it's by a lot, which is fine because really these items are interchangeable. So you could easily put this in her hand if you really wanted to, and you would have no problem with that. But for what it's worth, her holding the actual staff. Come on. Her hand is giving me a problem here. There. Her holding the actual staff looks about like this. So it doesn't go the entire distance. It definitely doesn't hit my rule where I prefer these staves to go all the way down and touch the floor and then come up. That's the way that I would prefer these staves. And one could argue that the original staff for the other Evil-Lyn, if you have that, maybe you want to use that. And if you were to do that, the comparison is this. Which one looks better? I personally believe that the longer staff looks better than the shorter staff. But if you were going for just a wand type of thing, which some people that like Evil-Lyn, that is specifically what they would want because Evil-Lyn's wand is normally depicted as being just this. And if you were to go for that concept, it looks like this. It almost seems very dinky, in all honesty, but not enough that it necessarily bothers me. I personally would keep the end on and make it longer. This is the way I would prefer it, but that's fine. She also does not have any kind of side belt or anything to hold the staff, but if I'm not mistaken, in this idea, she would summon this staff to herself, so she doesn't need to do that. The face sculpt is absolutely terrific. I know I already mentioned that, but the paint app is absolutely fantastic. Now I'm curious, and no, this cape, like it's not going anywhere. In fact, I'm noticing there's a piece of plastic that's barred into the back here, and I don't know if you can pull this out without causing a problem. It almost feels like this might be glued. Maybe it's not. Maybe I just don't want to pull it out because I have a feeling that if I did, maybe I'd screw something up. Arms are a complaint, but she looks really good. I really feel like I wish there was more movement. I'm not sure why they changed the arm design to go to what I feel is more primitive. That does confuse me a little bit, especially when you already had arms proven in Masterverse that already worked. And there's no reason that they couldn't have sculpted this bicep and made the bicep swivel right here like all the others. This is, I don't know, that part really confuses me. I'm confused about it. I don't understand it. I'm not sure what the idea here was. But I want to know something. I want to pull the head because this collar's a little bit bigger than this collar, but the hair seems about the same. The hair, the horsehair. So can I get this head? It pushes the head forward a little bit to get it on that ball joint, but I got it. You can do this. That's pretty cool. Like, she really looks neat like that. Like with her hair out and it's long, and that's pretty cool. That's impressive. I actually think that's really neat. It is not perfect, and her head isn't doing anything after you do that, but maybe for certain shots or just to be displayed on the shelf, that is really cool. It's a decent design. Pull that head. That hair really makes that head difficult to manipulate. Put the head back on, and that is Evil-Lyn. There are problems to discuss here, but overall, she is a solid figure. My complaints with the figure stand as such. Wand is small. I really feel like this should have been longer, and maybe in the same idea, this should have been longer, and maybe it's because I'm already used to this, and you can see it's not by much, but I mean, it does make a bit of a difference. It's a little bit longer than this, and then this bottom part definitely, I mean, you can tell. And even this I wish was a little bit longer. So it is what it is. The arms are an issue. The wand I wish was a little longer. The cape, one could argue it should have been removable. And maybe it is if you are willing to risk it. I am not willing to pull that plastic tab out because it feels pretty secure. And I have a feeling that if I pull it hard enough, it may be glued, and they may be the end of the cape unless I'm willing to re-glue it. And I don't want to do that, so Evil-Lyn has been added to the shelf. She is not perfect. She could have been better, but she is still pretty solid. Oh, and as a final note, before I close out this part of my first impressions, by now, it has been long enough. By now, if Jada Toys is showing you up, oh, and McFarlane has started doing it too, this should be a wireframe cape. All of these capes should be wireframe by this point. In fact, that should be a standard of this toy line, and I'm not sure why we're not doing it. But, Evil-Lyn.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.